The story begins in 1952, inside the Carta Monastery in Romania, where we see two nuns walking slowly toward a dark hallway. One of these nuns is named Sister Victoria. There are countless crosses hanging on both sides of the corridor, as if they were placed there to keep something evil locked inside. The two nuns finally reach a massive door, and on that door, written in an old mythical language, are the words, Finit hic Deo. It means, God's help ends here. One of the nuns, named Sister Jessica, takes a key in her trembling hand and prepares to open the door. Before going inside, she turns to Sister Victoria and says softly, "Keep your faith in Jesus." Saying this, she enters the room alone. The nun standing outside closes her eyes and begins to pray. Moments later, Sister Jessica comes out, her habit torn, her face soaked in blood. She had clearly been attacked by something inside. With fading strength, she presses the key into Sister Victoria's hands and says, "You know what you must do. Don't let it take control. It needs a living soul to enter this world." Before Victoria can react, an invisible force drags Jessica violently back into the darkness, slamming the door behind her. Terrified, Sister Victoria picks up the fallen key and runs down the hallway. She bursts into another room and locks the door behind her, panting, realizing there is no escape now. She kneels and whispers an apology to God. She knows what she's about to do is forbidden by the church. Still trembling, she says, "Forgive me, Lord," and then she ends her own life. The moment she dies, a dark shadow slowly rises behind her, and from the shadows emerges a horrifying figure, a demon wearing the face of a nun. Next morning, a man named French, also known as Frenchie, is shown traveling by cart to the abbey to deliver rations. When he reaches the place, he sees a nun's dead body hanging in front of the monastery, crows pecking at the flesh. Horrified, he drops his supplies and runs. The scene shifts to Vatican City, where Father Burke is speaking with another priest. He is told that a nun at St. Carta Abbey in Romania has ended her life, and that he must go there to investigate. The Vatican also assigns a young woman to accompany him, Sister Irene, a novice who has not yet taken her final vows. Without delay, Father Burke and Sister Irene begin their journey to Romania. There they meet French, who tells them that even the villagers refuse to go near the abbey. He himself delivers food once every 3 months, drops it near the gate and leaves immediately. At first, French refuses to take them there, but after much persuasion, he reluctantly agrees. He leads them through the woods to an ice house, where he had stored the nun's body. When they open the door, they're shocked to see that the nun's body is now sitting upright. French insists he had left her lying flat. Father Burke says nothing. He walks closer and notices the key still clutched in her hand. As soon as he takes it, they hear a loud bang at the wooden door nearby, the same small door through which the nuns used to collect their rations, so they wouldn't have to leave the abbey. Father Burke buries the nun's body respectfully. But suddenly, the bell tied to a nearby grave begins to ring by itself. Sister Irene walks toward it curiously. Father explains, during the first plague, people were sometimes buried alive. They would tie a bell to their coffin so the living could ring it if they woke underground. Next scene, French takes Father Burke and Sister Irene to the main gate of the abbey, the same place where he had found the body. As Father looks up, he spots a nun standing at a high window. They climb the stairs and notice streaks of fresh blood. Even though Sister Victoria died 2 weeks ago, the two exchange uneasy looks and step inside. There, they meet the Mother Superior, her entire face covered with a black veil, and her voice echoing like something not human. She warns them, "You should not be here. Leave this place." But Father Burke replies calmly, "If we leave now, the Vatican will only send others." The mother says that the abbey gates will close soon for prayer, and no one can enter or leave after dusk. She instructs them to stay in a nearby lodging house and return in the morning. Before leaving, Father tells French, "Go back for now, but return in a few days. We'll have finished the investigation by then." As French walks away through the graveyard, he sees a shadow of a nun moving between the crosses. Thinking it's one of the sisters, he follows. Suddenly, a horrifying figure leaps out of the dark and attacks him violently. French barely manages to escape with his life and runs away into the forest. That night, Father Burke and Sister Irene sit down for dinner together. They speak quietly under candlelight, discussing the strange feelings surrounding the abbey. Sister Irene tells Father that ever since she was a child, she has experienced strange visions. But after every vision, she always felt that the Virgin Mary was guiding her. She explains that it was the Vatican that helped her when she was young, and that is probably why she has been sent here now. Father listens, then tells her about something that happened 20 years ago in France. He says that back then, he had been performing an exorcism on a young boy named Daniel. During the exorcism, the child was violently injured and died a few days later. This broke Father Burke completely, and he began to blame himself for Daniel's death. As they finish talking, the sound of an old gramophone suddenly starts playing by itself. Father Burke gets up, startled, and goes to check. He hears the faint sound of a child laughing and running down the hall. He follows the sound all the way to the cemetery behind the abbey. There, in the fog, he sees the ghost of Daniel, but his eyes are no longer human. They glow yellow, and his voice sounds demonic. Father realizes that this isn't Daniel anymore. This is something else using his form. Suddenly, a snake slithers out of the boy's mouth and lunges at Father. The snake bites him, and Father stumbles backward into an open coffin that had been left nearby. The lid slams shut above him. Father Burke is trapped, buried alive. He begins to shout for help and rings the bell attached to the coffin. At that same moment, Sister Irene is asleep in her room. A strong gust of wind blows her window open, and she wakes up suddenly. She hears faint chanting, the sound of nuns praying somewhere deep inside the abbey. Curious and scared, she follows the sound until she reaches the church hall. There, dozens of nuns are kneeling and praying together. The atmosphere feels cold and sacred but strange. As she walks closer to the large cross at the altar, a shadow begins to stretch out from behind it. Slowly, it crawls across the floor toward her. That shadow reaches the mirror beside the cross, and from within the reflection, the demonic nun suddenly leaps out, smashing the mirror and knocking down the cross. Terrified, Sister Irene runs out of the church, screaming as she stumbles through the fog. She reaches the cemetery and stops. The sound of the bell is ringing again, and this time it's louder. She looks around and realizes all the bells on every grave are ringing together. Irene becomes dizzy, as if the sound is pulling her mind somewhere else, but she forces herself to focus and listens carefully. Amid all the ringing, she hears one specific bell ringing more desperately. She rushes to it and starts digging the soil with her bare hands. She digs faster and faster, and finally finds the coffin. She opens it just in time. Father Burke is inside, gasping for air. She helps him climb out. Inside the coffin, they find several old books. Father takes them along, believing they might hold clues. The next morning, Father Burke and Sister Irene return to the abbey. They call out for the Mother Superior, but no one answers. Then suddenly, the heavy inner door of the abbey opens by itself. Father hands the key he found in the nun's hand to Irene and says, "This is meant for you. Find out what it opens." Sister Irene walks inside alone. The air feels colder now, heavier. As she walks deeper into the corridor, she spots a nun walking ahead of her. She calls out, "Sister," but the nun doesn't reply. She just keeps walking. Irene follows her all the way into the church, where she sees another nun praying quietly in front of the altar. She calls again. No answer. Suddenly, another voice speaks softly from behind her. A nun named Sister Ona touches her shoulder. Ona explains, "All the nuns here pray in shifts. No one can break their prayer in the middle, not even for a moment." She tells Irene to come with her and leads her out of the church hall. Meanwhile, French is sitting in a small village bar, trying to calm his nerves. The bar owner tells him something disturbing. A 12-year-old girl from the village recently ended her life, and the villagers believe the reason for all these deaths is the curse of that abbey. French realizes that both Father Burke and Sister Irene are in danger. He immediately grabs his bag, takes a gun, and heads back toward the abbey. On the other side, Father Burke is studying the books he found in the grave. He discovers something shocking, the name Valak written over and over again. He realizes that this is the demon that has been haunting the abbey. While Father is reading, the massive inner door of the abbey, the same one Irene had entered, begins to close by itself. Inside, Sister Irene continues speaking with Sister Ona, who starts telling her the dark history of the abbey. She explains that it was built between the 6th and 10th centuries by a king who practiced black magic. That king had written about demonic rituals in his books, trying to summon dark powers from hell. But those hellish forces used him. They tricked him into opening a portal between the underworld and this world. When the church learned about it, they attacked the castle and killed the king. To close the portal, they used a holy relic containing the blood of Jesus Christ. The church then turned the castle into an abbey and placed nuns there to pray continuously, keeping the demon sealed. But during the war, bombing reopened the portal to hell. Sister Irene listens carefully. She tells Sister Ona, "I saw a nun here last night, but she didn't look holy." Ona nods. "I've seen her too," she whispers. "She is not one of us. She is a demon. She wears the habit so she can move among the sisters unseen." Ona believes this demon wants to possess the nuns and use their bodies to enter this world. She adds, "Perhaps that is why Sister Victoria ended her own life, to keep it from taking her body." Just then, another nun arrives and says that it's time for the nightly prayers, and Irene must leave now. But Sister Ona replies, "It's already dark. All the doors are closed. Sister Irene will stay here tonight." Ona leads her to a room for the night. Before leaving, Irene asks, "Do you know what this key is for?" Ona shakes her head. "I don't. Be careful." She leaves for the prayer hall. At the same time, Father Burke studies the abbey's map, hoping to find another way inside. Tracing the lines on the old paper, he suddenly notices a hidden chamber marked near the lower level, a place connected to the portal to hell mentioned in the book. Just then, he hears a voice calling softly, "Father Burke." It's the Mother Superior's voice. Father gets up and walks toward the sound. He finds her sitting quietly in the shadows of a hallway. He says, "Mother, something terrible is happening here." She tilts her head and asks in a slow, hollow tone, "What do you mean, Father?" Father steps closer. He shows her the key he found near Sister Victoria's body and asks, "Do you know what this opens?" Mother Superior lowers her head and replies, "It's too late now. Sister Irene will not return." As soon as she says that, her neck suddenly twists at an unnatural angle. A loud crack echoes through the corridor. Father gasps and steps back, horrified. Then, the mother's body stiffens and falls backward, her scarf sliding down, and beneath it, there is no human face. Before he can react, the body suddenly lunges at him, his mouth wide open, black smoke pouring out. Father Burke grabs his crucifix and shouts a prayer, but the demonic figure vanishes into thin air. Breathing heavily, Father realizes it wasn't the Mother Superior at all. It was the demon, mocking him. On the other side, Sister Irene wakes up with a start. She had just seen another vision, a vision where the Virgin Mary pointed her toward something. But this time, the face she saw wasn't holy. It was that demonic nun, smiling at her from the shadows. She sits up, sweating. In the corner of her room, she notices a nun kneeling in prayer. "Sister," Irene whispers softly. No reply. The praying nun remains motionless. Irene slowly gets out of bed and steps closer. As she reaches for her shoulder, something slides out from under the nun's hands, a small rosary chain. When Irene picks it up, A flash of memory hits her, the horrifying vision of Sister Victoria's death. Her eyes widen, and before she can even process what she's seeing, the door to her room flies open with a loud bang. In the hallway stands the demonic nun, its eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Irene gasps, but before she can step outside, the figure disappears. Then she hears Sister Ona's voice calling faintly from outside. "Irene? Come quickly." Irene grabs the key and runs toward the voice. Following the echo, she reaches a familiar hallway. There, on the wall, she sees the same ancient door, the one that says, "Finit hic Deo." Before she can even touch it, the heavy door swings open by itself, and behind it stands the demonic nun, smiling eerily. The nun raises her hand, and an invisible force pulls Irene forward, dragging her toward the door. The key slips from Irene's hand and slides across the floor, toward the demon. But just before it reaches, Irene lunges and catches it. She falls hard against the door. The demon growls, rushing at her again, his face half-human, half-burned shadow. Irene scrambles to her feet and runs down the corridor. As she turns a corner, another nun suddenly grabs her arm, a real one this time. The nun whispers urgently, "Only prayer can save us from her." She pulls Irene along toward the prayer hall. When they reach it, they see a lone nun praying at the center of the hall. Next to her lies a covered body. Irene approaches slowly and pulls the sheet away. Her heart freezes. The Sister Ona's dead body. The nun she heard calling her voice was already gone. Tears fill Irene's eyes. Meanwhile, Father Burke runs through the dark corridors, calling for Irene. Suddenly, he sees the demon in the form of Daniel standing ahead. "Father, help me," the boy says in a trembling voice, but Father now knows the truth. He raises the cross and says, "You are not Daniel." Instantly, Daniel's face twists. His eyes turn black, and the boy's voice becomes demonic. The spirit attacks, throwing Father against the wall. Father chants a prayer and presses his crucifix forward. But the demon vanishes into smoke again, leaving him shaken and bleeding. Back in the church hall, Irene is surrounded by dozens of terrified nuns. One of them says, "Join us. Pray. No matter what you see or hear, keep your eyes on God and keep praying." The nuns all begin to chant loudly, their voices echoing in fear. Suddenly, the statue of the Virgin Mary begins to cry blood. The red drops roll down its face, and at that moment, the demon attacks. The candles blow out. The air turns freezing. The nuns scream but continue their prayers. Irene holds her hands together tightly, chanting louder and louder, refusing to stop. The demon slashes through the air, throwing several nuns across the hall. But Irene keeps her eyes closed, whispering every word of her prayer. At the same time, outside in the storm, Father Burke rushes back toward the ice house, thinking he heard someone calling. As soon as he enters, a dark figure attacks him from behind. It's the demon again. Just when it's about to strike, a gunshot echoes, and the demon vanishes. It's French, standing at the door with a rifle in his hand. He says, panting, "Looks like I came just in time, Father." Father nods and says, "We must go back. She's in danger." Meanwhile, back in the prayer hall, Irene continues her chant, but the demon finally attacks her directly. It throws her against the altar and presses its burning hand onto her back. A demonic mark appears there, a twisted symbol that glows faintly red. Irene screams in pain, but before she loses consciousness, she hears the sound of footsteps. Father Burke and French have arrived. They burst into the hall, where Irene stands trembling among the wreckage. Father runs to her and asks, "What happened here?" Irene, still shaking, says, "I was praying with the other nuns." But when they look around, the hall is completely empty. Only one thing lies there, Sister Ona's dead body, which means all those nuns Irene saw praying were just visions created by the demon. Just then, that same corpse suddenly lunges at Irene, its lifeless body twisting unnaturally as it attacks. Father Burke rushes forward, pushing Irene aside, and the demon's blow hits him instead. He falls to the floor, his arm bleeding badly. "Father!" Irene screams and runs to him. Before the corpse can strike again, French grabs it from behind, wrestling it down. Father shouts, "Irene, the holy water. In my bag. Sprinkle it on the cross and hand it to me." Irene quickly opens his bag, takes out the holy water, dips the cross into it and gives it back to him. Father Burke presses the glowing cross against the creature's face. The air fills with a horrible hiss as smoke rises. But even burning, the demon keeps moving forward, trying to grab Father's throat. Just then, French pulls out his gun and shoots the creature point blank. The body collapses instantly. French lowers his weapon, panting. He looks around the dark hall and says, "We should leave this place now. Whatever that thing was, it's not done with us yet." But Irene steps forward firmly. "No," she says, "we can't leave. Not yet." She looks at both of them and explains, "The demon needs a living human body to enter this world. We can't let that happen." Father Burke nods slowly. "Then Sister Victoria didn't end her life out of fear," he says quietly. "She sacrificed herself, so the demon couldn't possess her." Irene nods. "And to stop it, we must seal the portal again, the same way the church did long ago. For that, we need the relic containing the blood of Jesus Christ." She remembers the words of the Mother Superior. The relic was last seen near the passage to the basement. Irene says, "That's where we'll find it." But before they go, Irene kneels down in front of Father Burke. "Father," she says softly, "I've never taken my vows. Not officially." Burke looks at her, confused. She continues, "If we're truly facing hell itself, then I want to stand before God as his servant." Father smiles faintly, despite the fear in his eyes. He raises his trembling hand and begins the vow. "Irene, do you accept the call of the Lord?" She answers, "I do." He continues the sacred words, and there, in the middle of the cursed abbey, Sister Irene takes her final vows and becomes a true nun. Now the three of them descend into the basement. The air grows damp and heavy. They walk slowly through tunnels filled with bones and crosses. At the far end, they find a statue of the Virgin Mary, one hand pointing directly toward an iron door. Father Burke whispers, "This is your vision, Irene. The Virgin Mary showing the way." Irene takes out the key and unlocks the door. Inside, a small light glows upon a silver relic, its glass vial filled with red liquid, the blood of Christ. Father carefully places the relic around Irene's neck. "This will protect you," he says. They continue deeper into the chamber. The walls here are covered with strange markings. At the end of the tunnel stands another large door, the same one carved with the words Finit Hic Deo. They push it open and step inside. The place feels like a forgotten cathedral. Water drips from the ceiling. Father Burke says, "We'll split up, find the portal, and seal it." French moves along the left side corridor. He hears a door creak open behind him. He turns, nothing. Then suddenly, a demonic face flashes right in front of him. He fires his gun, but the demon vanishes again. He stumbles backward, terrified. Meanwhile, Sister Irene walks down a narrow passage. The walls are cracked, dripping holy water. From behind her, a soft rustle echoes. She turns and sees a nun walking behind her. Her face is pale, her eyes missing. Before Irene can move, another faceless nun attacks her from the front. Irene screams and runs, clutching the relic. She finds a door and bursts inside. It's pitch dark, but suddenly one candle lights up by itself. She moves closer, and one by one, the candles around her start lighting up. When the room fills with flickering light, she sees something drawn on the floor, a large demonic symbol, the same mark burned onto her back. Her breath quickens. She steps back, whispering a prayer. Then the door slams shut behind her. All around her, shadowy figures appear, nuns with covered faces, silently standing. The air becomes heavy. The candles blow out, leaving only darkness. Suddenly, she screams. Outside, French hears her voice echoing through the corridors. He rushes toward the sound and finds the door locked. He breaks it open and runs inside. Inside, the room is full of demonic nuns, their bodies moving in slow, twisted motions. But French doesn't stop. He walks straight through them, gripping his gun. The demonic figures fade into smoke as he passes. At the center of the room, he sees Sister Irene, standing still, her head tilted downward, her body glowing faintly with that same red symbol. French whispers, "Irene." She suddenly raises her head. Her eyes are black. The demon has possessed her. French steps closer, but Irene lifts her hand and screams. The sound is so loud it throws him backward, lifting him off the ground. The demon, speaking through her, says, "You have disappointed everyone in your life." She points Father Burke's gun at him. Just before she can pull the trigger, French reaches into his pocket, grabs the relic, and splashes the blood of Christ onto her face. Instantly, the demon shrieks and releases Irene's body. But now it turns on French, lifting him into the air by his throat. At that moment, Irene runs forward, but the demon throws her hard into the water below. Father Burke, hearing the noise, rushes into the chamber. He sees the demon again, now taking the form of Daniel, and it attacks him with a snake from its mouth. The snake wraps around his neck, but he tears it off with the cross. The snake strikes again, this time biting his eye, leaving him wounded. Underwater, Irene struggles to breathe. The relic has fallen from her neck, sinking below. She reaches out desperately, but the dark figure of the demonic nun rises from the water behind her. The nun grabs Irene and pushes her deeper, trying to drown her. Father Burke runs to the edge, shouting her name, but the demon throws him aside with a wave of power. Irene's hands search through the murky water, until she finally feels the relic. She grabs it, and in a last act of faith, she opens it and fills her mouth with the holy blood. The demon drags her up and holds her above the water, choking her. As the demon stares into her face, it notices the relic in her hand, but it's empty. The demon's smile fades. Just then, Irene spits the blood of Christ directly into the demon's face. The creature lets out a deafening scream as its body begins to burn from within. His form crumbles, and drops of that holy blood fall into the water, turning it pure and holy. The portal to hell beneath them bursts open, and a blinding light pulls the demon down. The demonic nun's body is sucked back into the depths of hell, and the portal seals shut. Moments later, French pulls Irene from the water. She coughs and opens her eyes. Alive. The next morning, the abbey is quiet again. Sunlight filters through the broken windows. The three of them prepare to leave. Before stepping out, Sister Irene kneels and prays one last time. She whispers, "This place is holy again." French smiles faintly. He drives them away from the abbey in his cart. As they travel, Irene looks at him and says, "Thank you, French, for saving us." He smiles, but as he turns his head, we see a small inverted cross burned into his neck, a silent mark left by the demon. It means a part of that evil still lives inside him. And with that chilling image, the story of the nun, 1952, comes to an end. You're watching Ghostly Screen, where dark mysteries and supernatural tales come alive. Don't forget to subscribe before the lights go out.